Hello, and welcome to Autism Network Scotland's new vlog, In Conversation with Neil. Today, we're having a conversation with Tanya Tennant, who is an autism consultant. Good afternoon, Tanya.
Good afternoon, Neil.
And just as we start then, would it be possible for you to tell me a bit more about yourself and what your role is, what you do and things?
Yeah, so hi Neil, I'm Tanya, obviously. So yeah, I run my own autism training and consultancy business. So that's my day job. But my past history working in the field of autism dates back about 22, 23 years now. So I started my autism career, if you like, working with the National Autistic Society. And when I was with them, I did a variety of roles, from supporting children and teens in residential care, supporting them in education, and also supporting children to transition into adult services. But most of the work I did with them was around family support, and that's what I'm really passionate about. So I built my business around that when I left the National Autistic Society. Yeah. So that's a wee bit about me professionally, but I also have a personal background to autism. So I myself have a diagnosis of autism, which I got when I was 40, so 7 years ago now. Yeah, and I have 2 children, one of which, my son Daniel, has a diagnosis of autism and OCD. So we have a very personal link to autism as well as a professional one.
That's excellent. So I was just going to say, could you, obviously we're having a conversation here about Christmas, and what are some of the main challenges that you found being autistic that autistic people face over the Christmas period?
Yeah, so I think like Christmas is obviously a really exciting and enjoyable time, and a lot of autistic people do really like Christmas. I think it's important to say that, isn't it? But there are also many autistic people who find it to be a really stressful time of the year. And I would include myself and my family in that. We really do find Christmas to be quite stressful. I would prefer it if there wasn't such a thing, to be honest. Yeah. So it can be confusing and very stressful time, particularly because of all the changes that happen around that time of the year. So, for example, if you're a child, we often see that the school activities change considerably on the build up to Christmas. You know, schools might be decorating the building with Christmas decorations. They'll be getting ready for Christmas plays, different activities. There'll be a lot of teaching around Christmas. And obviously that means there's a big change in the curriculum for autistic children. And you know, we don't particularly cope well with change sometimes, so that can be very anxiety provoking, yeah. But I guess it's not just the change in schools, because there's also the change that's happening in the home as well, as families get ready for Christmas, so putting decorations up. You know, maybe they're going out shopping more, so the weekends will look very, very different, yeah. The conversations in the house will certainly change as we come up to Christmas. And, you know, families, parents themselves might be quite stressed. So that means that their children might be picking up on that stress as well, which is not helping matters either, yeah. And then just like the sensory environment in terms of like going out into the community, your houses around your local community are going to change. They might have flashing lights out. You might be able to see trees through the windows. It's going to be busier for sure. If we're going out into the shops, etc., there might be music playing, decorations up. Some of the entrances to some of the familiar shops might look different because there's a Christmas tree as you go through it. Yeah, so really I would say a lot about the changes that are happening are going to be the biggest stressor. Yeah. So from the point of view of a child, they're kind of the main things. Maybe from the point of view of an autistic adult, though, changes that maybe affect us more are like changes in your work schedules, you know, Christmas parties coming up and, you know, being asked along to them and whether you feel able to join in socially with things like that, having time off work. And then transitioning back to work after the holiday period can be difficult for some. Maybe there's a change in your medical circumstances where your regular medical appointments, you can't keep them. You have to wait till after Christmas for them to start up again. Yeah. So lots of things like that. Yeah. And then some of the other changes and difficulties that might present at Christmas as well are maybe things that people don't always think about, like the weather can have a big kind of influence on people. And, you know, as the winter months, they get colder, it's darker in the evenings and in the mornings. And some people might struggle to regulate their temperature during them times of the year, or might struggle to transition into appropriate clothing to wear at that time of the year as well. There can be breaks in support. So I know that's a particular issue for Daniel around Christmas, because Daniel's supports finish over the Christmas holidays and he doesn't have that link to people outside his family home over the Christmas period necessarily. He's stuck with his mum and dad and his sister and granddad, yeah. And then some of the smaller things maybe, but they can be massive things, would be just around Christmas Day, you know, who's visiting, how long are they coming for, when are they going to leave, what kind of things are they bringing into your house, where are they going to sit in the house, you know, all these kind of changes that might occur. What presents are they bringing and what might they be? Can you know, do you think you're going to like the presents they're going to bring, or is that causing you stress because it's the fear of the unknown? And then things like just family expectations, like you might, the rest of the year, your family might be okay if you sit on your settee with your dinner, but, you know, there's this expectation that we sit for a family meal, and that can put a lot of pressure on people who maybe don't follow that routine, you know, other times of the year. And then when we're thinking about that family meal as well, you know, there's an expectation that we eat Christmas dinner, and some people with autism have a lot of dietary issues, which means that they might not be able to tolerate different kind of food groups in terms of taste or texture. So yeah, and then like I said before, just transitioning back out of Christmas. So, you know, dealing with the change of all them things coming into place, but then a lot of people don't consider that you then have to transition back out of that when all them things disappear, like Christmas trees and decorations and Christmas music, etc. Yeah. So, you know, you can see that there are a whole host of difficulties for autistic people around Christmas. It is not an easy time of the year for most of us. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say then, thanks very much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you, Neil. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you once again for watching our vlog. As was discussed, Tanya runs her own training and autism consultancy. And if you wish further information about the wide variety of tailored support and expertise that she can offer to individuals and families, please contact her either through her website, as listed on screen, or through her email, also listed on screen.